Welcome back, everyone. Today's video is a quick overview of 5 bad reasons to buy a stock. So, reason number 1 that is a bad reason to buy a stock, a low PE. Well, think of it this way. Do you think you're the only person in the world that looked at a stock's price to earnings ratio and saw, oh, that stock's cheap? Probably not. Many stocks that are actually at their most expensive look cheap. A low price to earnings does not necessarily mean a cheap stock. Many cyclical stocks have low price to earnings at the peak of the cycle. Now, what types of stocks can be cyclical? Well, a lot more than some might think. Autos, airlines, banks, chips, commodities, semis, a lot of things are cyclical. Now, low PEs can also be an indicator that a stock might have some problems, like a lot of debt or declining profits. Never buy a stock because it has a low PE. I'm not saying don't buy a stock because it has a low PE, but don't let that be the reason that you buy a stock, as a low price to earnings multiple is the market saying watch out for something. Reason number 2 that is a bad reason to buy a stock, a big dividend. I'm not saying dividends are bad. I'm not saying a company that pays a big solid dividend is bad. I'm saying that when a dividend from a company is a really high percent, that also could be the market telling you, watch out, this company doesn't really have the cash flow to necessarily keep paying their dividend, or they have so much debt, or there's some other problem and they might not be able to keep paying it. And then, in the case where the dividend does get cut, you all of a sudden realize that you have a stock with a bunch of other people that were only owning it for the dividend. So now that they cut their dividend, you just get a bunch of people selling the stock, and that pushes the price down. And you realize you have this company that you own for a dividend, and it doesn't pay a dividend anymore. Number 3, share count. I don't know how many times I've had this conversation with people. Share count doesn't matter. Okay, it can be a warning sign of low liquidity, careless management, issuing shares or whatever, but it's often meaningless. If you look at a company, they could have had 1 billion shares, and then you could look a week later, same company has 100 million shares. Share count in and of itself doesn't mean much. Reason number 4, good news. You ever heard buy the rumor, sell the fact? This is a saying that often comes from the market anticipating news in advance. And sometimes when the news finally arrives, the share price could fall. Why is that? Is it because all the investors didn't read the news and you're the only brilliant person who read the news and think, oh, this stock should be acting well in this news? Well, that is unlikely. There's probably what happened was the market anticipated the news and the stock probably went up in anticipation. And now the people who knew the news was coming in advance are probably taking profits. The perfect example of this, which is like everybody knew the news was coming, was marijuana stocks when it became legalized. What happened? It went straight down. Why? Well, everyone knew the news. Okay, so I know a whole lot of people that are big fans of dollar cost averaging, but I still maintain that it's a bad idea to just buy a stock because you had money or because it is cheaper than it was yesterday. I'm very much in favor of buying a stock for a good reason. I felt like it, or I just had money lying around, or the price went down. Those don't qualify as good reasons, I don't think. Now, buying something just because one of those reasons, you have to think, is that really a long-term sustainable strategy? So that's it for today. I hope everyone enjoyed. I hope this was thought-provoking for all. I'd love to hear if you've made some of these mistakes in the past and have found out that they were mistakes only later. I know I have. long ago, but I've just trying to share this to help avoid buying something for a wrong reason. And with that, I wish everyone a great day.